Hello students, myself Dr.C.R.Chougule, Head Department of English, Gopal Krishna Gokhale College, Kolhapur. This lecture is for the students of B.A.3 Special English. Name of the paper number 8 is English Poetry for the semester 5th. Let us know the metaphysical poem The Retreat by Henry Vaughan. This poem is a 32-line poem which is contained within one stanza of text. The poet has chosen to utilize a structured and consistent pattern of rhyme scheme which follows the A, B, B, C, C, D, D and so on throughout the entire text. Before beginning this piece, a reader should take note of the use of the word retreat in the title. Through the poet's selection of this word, it takes on two different meanings. The first, that of hiding or getting away from one's life, and the other as the reference to place of happiness. He is seeking out both a return to the past and a retreat to a happier time. The two coincide with the speaker. The poem begins with the speaker mourning for the lost days of his youth. He longs to return to a time when he was in his angel infancy and had yet to be influenced by the dark forces of the world. It would be a time in which he had yet to stray far from his home and realize the struggle that would take him over internally. In the present day, he worries about his own emotions and the sinful nature of them. He is concerned over his own being in a way that was not even considered when he was young. In the final lines, the speaker describes the end of his life and how he will return to the dust of the earth. This will be a penultimate ending for a man who longs for his previous life. In the first section of the poem, the speaker begins by making an explanation which at this point has no defining context. On the first reading, one might see this line as celebrating statement, but after coming to a greater understanding of the text, it becomes clear that it is closer to a grief than joy. The speaker is looking back on the days of his youth and remembering what is like when he shined in angel infancy. He is long past these moments but remembers them very fondly. Then seems to him to be clearest, purest part of his life. The following lines continue his reminiscences by speaking how he understands this place. He knows the world is world where he lives and can see all of its dark corners in the life. Before, though, this was not the case. As a youth, he used to live so purely he didn't even think about how celestial his thoughts were. Now thinking cleanly takes a concerted effort. In the next section of the poem, The Retreat, the speaker goes on to describe what his life was like before he strayed far from his home. It was during this period that he had not walked more than a mile or two from his first love. He had not seen very much of the world at this point and knew nothing about its dangers. When he looks back, he realizes this was when he could glimpse the face of God. It was only for a short span this was possible, and in moments in which he gazes upon a glided cloud or flowers. When he was young, he could spend on each an hour simply contemplating the beauty of natural world. In the final lines of this section, he speaks on the glimpses of eternity he caught in these moments. They were only shadows, but they felt infinitely important to him. In the next section, the poet continues on the same path of describing the life he used to lead when he was young. The speaker is remembering the years of his life which were not marked by his tongue wounding his own conscience. He didn't worry about what was morally right or wrong. He simply, as a young person, this is expanding upon in the next lines, in which he speaks of black art tainting emotions. Before he aged, he did not worry about how he felt and if it was sinful. Now, though the nature of his own emotions bother him, this has been brought on by the teaching of society and perhaps religion. Rather than experience these guilty thoughts about his own life, he felt within his fleshy dress or body shoots of everlastingness. It seemed to his young self that he would live forever in a perpetual state of youth. In the next part of this poem, Retreat takes a turn. He stops reminiscing and instead expresses his general longing for the past. He makes another explanation stating, "Oh, how I long to travel back to the past." The speaker would rather live in the past and walk again on the ancient track than live as he does not now. If he could return, he might have a chance of reaching then the plain where he left his glorious train. He would hope to recover his previous state of being. That's why he knows exactly where he left it to, on the hill alongside the enlightened spirit. The spirit which represents his youth is able to see the sadicity of palm trees from where it rests. In the last 6 lines, the speaker mourns for what he will never have again. He has become drunk with his own longings and remembrances. The speaker knows it is not a healthy way to live, as he will stagger about his life without purpose. This fact does not keep him from changing his opinion. He knows he is unlike other men. He loves the backward steps rather than the forward motion. In the final 2 lines, he speaks about his own death. It will be ultimate returning, and he assumes the form of dust. His body will return to the earth and become again what it was before he was born. Thanks for listening me carefully and attentively. Thank you.